Hi everyone, Susan Tran here on DC News Now's Women's Wednesday, and today we are talking about traveling solo as women, and joining us right now is Diana Hambrecht. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Susan.
This is so exciting. I'm a huge fan of seeing the world and traveling, and you are a travel advisor for Global Travel Collection and have been doing this for nearly 2 decades. And can you kind of just walk us through? There has been kind of an uprising of women traveling solo.
Yes, women are realizing that I don't have the proper travel companion right now. I'm going to be empowered and just go on my own. So I think that's great. They're not holding back. They're going full steam ahead.
There was some research that I was seeing that you also sent over, that there was a 71% of women now make up solo travelers, and Google searches have gone up 130 some odd percent too for solo women traveling. What are some of the best things about traveling by yourself as a woman?
Well, I think, it's best if you are setting your own itinerary. You're not worrying about your companion who might not want to go see a museum, or maybe they don't like outdoor activities. I think it's best that if you're a woman traveling alone, you are setting the tone for the day and making the trip your own. So that's what I would say.
Okay. And so we also wanted to talk about, so I had asked you all of these random questions to kind of gear us up for this conversation. And one was just the idea of, are there places that women should consider maybe not going if they're going by themselves?
Well, first of all, we always want to be as safe as possible. So, of course, I would rely on the State Department's advisories. Anything level 3 or level 4, of course, avoid. Places to go would be places with a strong tourism infrastructure, places where there's not going to be a strong language barrier. But other than that, it's also trusting your gut. If you feel that somewhere is not safe to travel to, if you're hearing things maybe in the news, maybe just postpone that trip for now and put it off for later.
So when you're talking to someone who's like, hey, Diana, I'm thinking about going by myself. I've never done this before. What is it that you kind of sit down with them and advise them on this kind of new adventure?
Well, the first thing is to definitely plan ahead. Planning is always going to be better than waiting till the last minute. I'm a strong advocate of, putting numbers in your phone, especially hotels, any transfer contacts. That way you're not standing in the airport looking down at your phone, looking vulnerable, waiting for your ride. You already have a number if you need to contact somebody. Just a lot of planning in advance.
And then do you kind of have this idea of, okay, if you're doing this for the first time, here are some of the best scenarios, because you're a newbie at this, it might be intimidating. Are there places that are just kind of built for this, or tours or guides that have thought, you know what, we are seeing an uptick in women who want to go on a trip by themselves, and this is kind of the best avenue for you?
Well, there's definitely a places domestically and internationally that would appeal to anyone. I've recently sent some women to Europe, places that are very friendly right now, London and Paris, where a woman could, land in the daytime should she choose and feel comfortable navigating neighborhoods. Also East Coast, places like Savannah and Charleston, where you could do a lot of food tours. Those are popular right now, where a woman could possibly join up with a group for us, let's say a cooking class or a walking tour, and not really feel alone, feel part of a group. So that's what I would recommend.
Those sound a lot of fun for an adventure. Do those happen overseas as well? Are there a lot of those options internationally?
Yes, internationally, there's a lot of tours somebody could choose from. Perhaps one day they might want to be alone, but with a private guide, taking things at their own pace rather than be with a group. But they could also join up with a group internationally as well. And one interesting thing that I like about if you're working with a travel advisor or not, is that a lot of tour companies, you can look at the guide and whether they're male or female, just, read their bio and find out, would I be comfortable exploring, the city on this day with them, and just read a little bit more about them and know that you would match up with them. So that's really helpful.
And what you have mentioned is you could do one with a group, you could do maybe one with a private guide, and that kind of splits up the cost, I would assume, because it's probably way more expensive to do a private guide than a group excursion.
Yes, no, there's something out there for everybody's budget. Whether you'd like to do a luxury tour or if you're on a budget, there's really something for everybody, which is nice, both domestically and internationally. A lot of the tour companies, whether you're working with an advisor or not, there's just various levels to choose from, so it's very inclusive.
Is it just kind of private tours and group tours? Are there other things that we're not thinking about or we don't even know to kind of inquire about when you're out there traveling alone?
If you're out there traveling alone and you're staying at a renowned hotel or somewhere that you find reputable, you can always speak to the concierge. Sometimes they have, a restaurant only known to locals, so that's really helpful. Sometimes when I've been traveling, the best restaurants were somewhere where there were no tourists, and we found out about them from the concierge. So that's something helpful.
And it's not something that you're thinking, okay, they're going to just guide me to the most popular.
Exactly. Ask for where do the locals go to really get a local feel.
Okay, you're watching Women's Wednesday with Diana Hambrecht here, and we're going to have more of this conversation, including things that you must do before you head out on that solo trip. You're watching Women's Wednesday. Welcome back to Women's Wednesday. I'm Susan Tran, and joining me now is Diana Hambrecht, and you are a travel advisor for Global Travel Collection. Thank you so much for being here and talking to us about women and traveling solo, which has seen such an increase. When you talk to women, what has been kind of the hesitation that keeps them from going on a trip by themselves?
Well, a lot of women I talk to are maybe experiencing a change in their life, whether it be retirement. Some women have actually, that I've worked with, had a chronic illness that they've beaten, and they're really apprehensive about traveling alone. They're worried, do I have to eat by myself? How am I going to navigate, where I'm going? And I work with them and reassure them, as far as, dining out, bring a book, sit at the bar. I hear it all the time. They might strike up a conversation with someone next to them. It's good to be out and about and not stuck in your hotel room. Other, travelers I've talked to are sometimes nervous about navigating if they're out late at night. And as long as they are armed with a plan at the end of the night, they know what route they're going to walk home, or they have, a ride arranged, that tends to calm, their nerves and get them comfortable.
And you have a whole list of kind of advice, must-dos before you head out. And one was arrive during the daylight hour, which you had talked about earlier. But why is that very important?
Well, I think it's important if you arrive during the daytime, you can kind of get your bearings and look around, not feel as though the day is ending and there's not many people around. Sometimes it's unavoidable where, your flight or however you're arriving to the destination, it can't be avoided. It's at night. But again, that's when it helps to have your ride arranged, so you are not, trying to call for a taxi or a ride share.
Okay, so have your transportation arranged was the other one that you wanted to make sure before you even get to the airport. And the next one you talked about is getting to and from your hotel. Have a plan.
Exactly. Planning is key.
Okay, so that you're just not walking around and you look like you're not sure exactly how you're going to navigate this.
Exactly. Walk with confidence and purpose, and you'll fit right in.
And save all the contact information on your phone, which I didn't always think about, but vital.
It really helps. Instead of pulling out your phone, pulling up a browser, Googling your hotel, you can save all those contacts before you even leave the house. It's going to save you a lot of time and just make you more prepared and confident.
And you also mentioned the need to share your itinerary with family members, but important to check in.
Yes. Well, you don't need to be texting your friends and relatives every day, letting them know that you're still on your trip.
And having a great time with all your photos.
It is. It's good to check in at least every other day just to let them know. Or what I have a lot of travelers do is share your location with your family members. That way, they don't even need to hear from you. They can just see that, wherever you are, that's where you are and you're safe.
That's a good one because I don't ever want to share my location, but if I'm traveling solo, that just might be one way that one or two people, family, close friends know and can keep tabs.
Yes, it's definitely a safe thing to do.
And you also talked about the need to kind of dress to blend.
Yes, it's always nice to definitely try to blend in, avoid clothing items with a lot of logos or flashy jewelry. It's best to just keep your dress subtle and don't call attention to yourself. Now is not the time to be wearing your most brightest colors and a lot of jewelry. Just keep things neutral.
You're trying to be low pro and
Yes.
have a good time,
Yes.
right? One thing that we should really mention, and I never really thought about it, is social media. And if you're traveling by yourself, this is very key.
Yes, I advise, if I know it's tempting, but to hold off on posting all of your pictures from your trip and your great plates of food and everything. Save that for when you get home. Not only is it letting everyone know that you're on a trip if you post in real time. Also locally, people can see there's a solo female traveler out here, and they might see you and you're vulnerable, so you want to avoid that.
Because people don't really think about the fact that you could be recognizable. If you're in a country of not very many, small Asian women or, blondes or dark haired in a community or a country, you could stand out and it's not difficult to pick you out.
Definitely. So again, just try to wait till you return home to post on social media.
When you are kind of advising women who are just going to start this travel journey by themselves, do you always make sure to kind of give them a few pieces of guidance, or do you wait for them to ask? Like, is it too much to say, here are all these details?
Personally, if they're working with me as their travel advisor, I like to make the preparation for the trip as concise as possible. So I do give them a few key pieces of advice that we've already gone over about storing all of your important contacts, arriving in daylight, just walk with purpose, do not be a target, and they always have my number on speed dial, of course, so.
And is there anything that we should be concerned about if you're, eating alone or at a hotel room alone or any of, those types of aspects?
Definitely, of course, lock your hotel room door. Do not open it unless you're expecting anyone or you verified that hotel staff will be visiting. Make sure to keep your valuables in a safe. I mean, these are standard things you might not think of when you're so busy and enjoying yourself on vacation. So just overall, remain alert, enjoy yourself, but, be alert of your surroundings.
All right. Such great advice for anyone who might think about it and just need to kind of process in their minds that this could be a great trip, but you do have to be kind of conscientious of where you're going and how you're going to plan the whole adventure. Yeah. All right. You're watching Women's Wednesday. We will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Women's Wednesday. I'm Susan Tran, and we are here with Diana Hambrecht. And thank you so much, our travel advisor from Global Travel Collection. And we're talking about women going out alone, having a great vacation by themselves. How do women get started? We're thinking, okay, it's time. I'm not going to wait for my best friend to have time off or my partner to want to go on this trip. How do we get started on plotting and planning a trip?
No, I agree with you, Susan. Life is too short to put off that trip. Really, for traveling, there's something for everyone, whether you're on a budget or whether you're not on a budget. If you are working with a travel advisor, the first thing I would do would be to reach out to your trusted advisor, talk about your goals for the trip, your overall budget, where you'd like to go, timelines, so forth, and they can kind of guide you from there. If you're on a budget and you'd prefer to, do all your own research, you can do that online, of course, and the only thing that a travel advisor would do versus you doing yourself is that your travel advisor is going to have a lot of vetted partners they're working with and more expertise in really the behind the scenes of what hotel you're staying at or maybe a specific tour. But again, there's always ways, whether on a budget or working with an advisor, to make your trip happen.
Because there are advantages to both. You could save a little bit of money if you're going to somewhere known. If it's like a London or an Ireland and you've either been or you have friends who have all of these recommendations and you can navigate it with ease. But if you're going on an excursion and there are multiple aspects to it, I mean, my husband and I are savvy travelers, and there was this one time, like, there's no way we would have been able to do this on our own. We would not have been able to navigate all this.
Right, exactly. A lot of planning goes into trips, especially with faraway destinations. If you're going to Singapore or Barcelona or anywhere really internationally, a travel advisor is going to save you a lot of time and headache with researching the right options for you specifically.
And you were talking about not just finding the best kind of places for your kind of budget and vetted places and people and tour guides, but also you have access to kind of some deals that we wouldn't even have known about.
Yes, that is where the travel advisor comes in with the perks and deals that you're not going to find online, especially with hotel partners. A lot of times you're going to get free breakfast, added perks that you would pay the same for online. Also, freebies might be thrown in, but especially working with tour companies and on-ground partners, it's the connections that your travel advisor has already made, likely in person, knowing that who to trust.
Because you were kind of explaining that you have people calling you, flight's been canceled, there is something awry, and you're able to handle this, and your client is not having to talk to a voice service or AI.
Yes, I know. Although, bots are really appealing these days, working with a travel advisor, that individual is going to call the airline on your behalf and spend the however long it takes to get your situation sorted so that you're not on hold for 90 minutes or in a chat with the chat bot. So your advisor should be there for you to be your advocate and take care of things for you.
Kind of help people understand a little bit about just what to expect if you're getting a travel advisor price-wise, how it's kind of broken up in fees and for the services in generic terms.
The best thing to do is to have that discussion with your travel advisor before you even start planning the trip, just so that you're both comfortable with the fee structure. If somebody was just wanting a hotel, that might be on the lower end of cost-wise. With the trip that required hours of planning and multiple transfers and excursions and dining reservations, that typically is often priced on an hourly basis. So it's best that if you're working with a travel advisor, you have that discussion up front so there's no surprises at the end as far as cost.
And is there another aspect as well where you can work with a travel advisor to kind of go on like a tour type of situation so it's not as intimidating?
Absolutely. Most travel advisors, including myself, coordinate tours where everything is taken care of for you. You just have to get to the destination. So that's a really nice option for somebody who really doesn't want to have to plan anything. They just show up and everything's done.
You keep them on schedule, right?
Yes.
Do you have your passport? This needs a visa. This is what you need to pay for X, and these are the foreign currencies that you will need.
Exactly. Everything is taken care of. They just have to make sure that they're reading everything, read the fine print, and return everything in time.
That could be a great advantage for someone who is trying this out for the first time, to kind of pull on those big girl pants and say, it's time for me to take that trip by myself.
Exactly. It's exciting.
Last piece of advice for anybody who is considering taking that vacation, and which they never would have dreamed that they would have done. But more and more women are obviously doing it.
Yes, I would say really just seize the day and just go out and take that trip you've been putting off. A lot of times I have female travelers who come back to me and they're feeling so empowered that they're ready to book their next trip because their confidence has grown and they've traveled and they're ready to do it again. And it's very inspiring.
That is awesome. All right, Diana Hambrecht from Global Travel Collection, thank you so much for your time and giving us such great advice. And I hope everybody takes the opportunity to try going out at alone and having a great time. And if you are scared to eat by yourself at a restaurant, sit at a bar, bring a book, and it'll be fine.
Exactly. Thanks for having me.
All right, you're watching Women's Wednesday on DC News Now. Thank you. Have a great one.